Welcome and thank you for joining us. I am Anietie Victoria. This is Inclusive Network News. We'll be bringing you the latest news on the major stories of people living with disabilities, necessary information and happenings around the nation and across the world at large. Now for the headlines. Deaf Association protests demolition of secretariat in Imo State. PWDs vote ability, IFA, NCPWD and INEC launch vote ability campaign to increase registration of PWDs. Lagos PWDs cry out over unfair treatment by Labour Ministry. World Championships, Tobi Amusan wins 100-meter hurdles final, breaks world record. JONAPWD, Akwa Ibom elects new executive as Anietie Jackson emerges chairman. We'll be back in a jiffy to give you the major stories. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. The Association of Deaf in Imo State on Wednesday protested the demolition of its secretariat situated on Wednesday Road, Owerri, by officials of the Environmental Transformation Commission, (NCPWD). The special citizens took the protest to the government house, where they met with the Chief of Staff, Governor Hope Uzodinma, Mr. Nnamdi Anietie. After confirming from the NCPWD General Manager, Franklin Nkemakulam, on the demolition, Anietie promised to take the matter to the government for solution. Reacting, representative of the association, who spoke through its chairman, Uzoma Edwards, headed by an interpreter, said the office was built by the late Sam Mbakwe's administration. According to him, the office had served as their worship meeting and vocational center before it was demolished. Edwards disclosed that the commission embarked on the demolition without a prior notice and warrants to the association. In a press conference at the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, 21st of July, the Inclusive Friends Association IFA, in collaboration with National Commission for Persons with Disability NCPWD and Independent Electoral Commission, have launched the PWDs, CVR Campaign Votabilities, an initiative that targets all clusters of PWDs eligible to vote to register in the Continuous Voters Registration (CVR) exercise. In his speech, the representative of INEC, Haji Yahaya Bello, said that INEC chairman is so passionate about persons with disabilities and in ensuring that they are not disenfranchised. He has concluded inclusivity in the motto of INEC, apart from conducting free, fair, credible, and transparent election. Mr. Bello noted that the idea of granting and facilitating the registration of PWDs is very commendable, especially in view of the Commission's mandate towards an inclusive general election in 2023. Any election in Nigeria is not inclusive if all the segments of the society are included in the process. Appeal to the media men to continue to provide the necessary voice on behalf of the disability community and continue to amplify the rights and dignity of persons dealing with disabilities everywhere, ensuring everybody that PWDs will come out in massive to vote next year. Persons with disabilities in Lagos were in pensive mood a fortnight ago following unfair and degrading treatment meted them by officials of the Lagos State Ministry of Labour and Productivity. Inclusive News recalls that calls of persons with disabilities selected from Lagos, Kano, and Abuja were recently sponsored by Sightsavers International to partake in an intensive training under the Industrial Training Fund (ITF) in conjunction with the Ministry of Labour and Productivity. Unfortunately, what got out at the end of training, which lasted for 3 months and 2 weeks, the hopes of PWDs, trainees from Lagos State, to be given a trade test certificate like their counterparts from Kano, and the FCT by officials in the Ministry of Labour and Productivity were attached. In an interview with Inclusive News, one of the affected trainees of the blind cluster, an entrepreneur, vocational facilitator and activist, Mr. Anoluwapo Isaac, disclosed how the affected trainees were turned out of the Ministry of Labour headquarters in Lagos State, where they thronged the premises to obtain their trade test certificates. According to Mr. Anoluwapo, the trade test certificates were eventually handed to the trainees, making them proud graduates. He said the training manager took it upon itself to contact its colleague in Kano after we submitted our passports, photography, other related data, and paid the sum of 5,000 naira each. The documents were taken to Kano, and our trade test certificates came to us within 2 weeks. At this expense, we are now proud graduates like other trainees in Abuja and Jos. Tobi Amusan became the first Nigerian ever to win gold at the World Athletics Championship after racing to a stunning world record of 12.06 seconds. It was the second time Amusan would bring the record on the night, improving on her 12.12 seconds in the semi-final. It was previously set by American Kendra Harrison's at 12.20 seconds. On the night of many firsts, Amusan became first Nigerian athlete to ever set a world record in any event. It will also be the first time the Nigerian anthem will be played over the public address system during medal presentation as the winner of an event. Amusan's victory will for her be some sort of compensation for a disappointing outing in Tokyo last year when she finished 4th in the final, despite being touted to take one of the medals. She walks away with $100,000 prize money and will now turn her attention to the Commonwealth Games beginning on Thursday, July 28th, where she is also the defending champion in the event. The Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, JONAPWD, Akwa Ibom State Chapter has inaugurated a new set of executives to pilot affairs of the association for the next 4 years. The election had members of the association converge at the Women Development Center, IBB Avenue, Uyo, on Friday, July 22, 2022. The election process was supervised by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Affairs, Dr. Akwa, national representatives of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Mary Jane Nwanke and Mr. Ernest Buzo. The South-South coordinator were on ground to observe the process. While addressing the newly elected executive officer of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Akwa, appreciated Governor Udom Emmanuel and his wife, Dr. Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel, for their passion towards welfare for persons with disabilities in the state and for making the needed resources available to cater for their needs and for the conduct of the election. Imagine as the state chairman of JONAPWD was Comrade Anietie Jackson of the Deaf Cluster. Mr. Ubon Ben of the Blind Cluster won the post for secretary. Meanwhile, Mrs. Unene Basi of Albinism Cluster is the treasurer. Mr. Jackson promised to do his job diligently and to work in harmony with the executives and other clusters in the state. The newly elected executives were sworn into office by the Director of Legal Services in Ministry, Barrister Bassi. Thank you for staying with us. See you next week. Please kindly like, share, comment and follow on our social media handles on your screen. See you next week. Bye.